Dobre utra, good morning, and this is why I love Russia. The snow. Yeah, the weather. Basically, that's the one thing that I love about Russia. I'd say it has to be on my #1 spot as to why I love this country, and that is a weird thing to say. I know it is, because, you know, many Russians hate their weather. I love it. It's literally just started snowing in Russia. It's December, and I was reading on the news that this is the warmest December they've ever had. -10. Yeah. But honestly, this is why I love the country so much, because I love the weather. I like the cold climate. There's a thing, I don't want to get a little bit too spiritual, but I believe there's a thing about being more tied to a colder climate or a warmer climate. And for me, look how beautiful that is. Wow. But for me, the colder climate suits me the most. I can tell you that for free. But the thing is, in Russia as well, this country's not for everyone. It really isn't. I mean, you have the Soviet, well, it might not be Soviet, but you have the Russian commie blocks here, and you have the cold weather. I mean, for example, it's 9 o'clock in the morning right now. I believe we only get about, so 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock is the amount of sunlight we get. This country's not for everyone, yeah? And I know that's the case anyway, because before I left England to come to Russia, I didn't tell many people. I told my family, and they were very supportive. And I told a couple of friends. I didn't tell everyone, but when my parents told their friends, it was like, why are you going there? Oh, you can't go there, it's dangerous. Which I understand people will have a different opinion, that's fine, but it wasn't like a positive reaction, if that makes sense. Most people want to move to Thailand, you know, and I use Thailand because it's a very popular country at the moment, but I have a friend in Thailand. But just an example, warm climate, you know, you can see the attraction of moving to that country. It's probably, I believe it's quite a modernized country. Not like Russia isn't a modernized country, of course it is, but the aesthetic is what I mean. For example, the Russian aesthetic of the country is a bit off-putting, you could say. But I'd say that's mostly Eastern Europe. But for Russia, with its harsh cold climate and its aesthetic in general, it's off-putting. But that's why I love this country. I love the raw aesthetic. This is why I just love this country, man. It's just so cool. I just love how brutal it is sometimes. It's not brutal, is it? But just the raw aesthetic, the cold climate. And let's be honest, with the modern world, at least in the West, I feel like a lot of people have been domesticated and up to the point where anything that's remotely uncomfortable is a big problem. Yeah, I just love this country, man. This is why I fell in love with this country in the first place. And then you have this awesome, you know, military history, which is what I like about Russia as well. Its history amplifies how cool this country is for me. But yeah, I'm making this video today, and I nearly slipped again. I need any Russians in the comments, I know I have a few Russian followers and subscribers, can you tell me some good boots to wear? Because currently I'm wearing these, and I keep slipping, keep falling over. Just to get here today, which is about 10-minute walk, I fell over I haven't fallen over, but I fell. I feel like I was gonna fall 10 times. But I'm making this video today because a few comments have asked me to make a different style of video, something that's a little bit more, I don't know, not necessarily less quality, but just a talking video. and just explain to you how I feel living in this country, how I'm learning the language. So that's what I'm going to do. And if you have any questions you want to ask me, put them in the comment section. You see what I mean? Nearly fell over again. And you know, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Look how raw this place looks. And grungy, brutal. I just love it. Look at the pipe work. I find this so cool. Obviously, you know, it's an unapologetic aesthetic, but that, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. That's why I love this place. I actually need to buy some cheese, a little bit random. So I'm going to go into this shop here. It's a new shop. This is all a new area. Yeah, basically, I'm making jacket potatoes, and I forgot to buy some cheese at the shop. Oh, I'm not coming back this way. I've just bought my cheese, and look how much ice there is. I fell maybe like 4 times just coming down it. But I've got my cheese. My Belarusian cheese. Yeah, my Belarusian cheese for like £2.29. But another thing why I love Russia is obviously I didn't record the interaction that I had with the cashier in the shop because there was no interaction. You know, in England it's like you walk into a shop, look how slowly I have to walk because I'm going to fall over and die. But in England it's like you walk into a shop, hello, how are you today? Oh yes, I'm very good, thank you, how are you? Diddle-diddle-doo. And then you go to the cashier with your products. Hi, good morning, how are you? Oh yes, I'm very good, how are you? I'm da-da-da. That's what it's like in England, which is fine. But in that shop, I walked in, no one said hello, no one asked how I was. And I didn't even say hello to the cashier. And the cashier didn't even say hello to me. He didn't even tell me the price. You know, I just like that. Maybe it's because I'm a grumpy old sod. Maybe that's why. But yeah, just to let you know of all the hate comments. Actually, this is a new area. This is a pretty cool park for the kids. But I am allowed to like Russia. Okay, as a foreigner, I am allowed to like this country. To all those people that leave comments saying, I don't know, you should go and die. That's, you know, some people comment some weird stuff. But I am allowed to like Russia, dude. I am. So when I first came to Russia in 2024, January, I wasn't very excited. You know, when you go on holiday, for example, anywhere, before you get ready to go, and I'm going to slip again, you have this feeling of excitement. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't have that. Especially when, you know, it took me 3 months to get a visa, had to fill out all this stuff. It's not like, for example, if I was in England now, I could essentially just book a ticket to Germany and go to Germany without any hassle, really. But to get to Russia, it was it's not a simple process. But I wasn't excited. Yeah, I've wanted to come to this country since I was like 17. You know, I've always been fascinated with Russia. And yeah, I wasn't excited. And I'm telling you this because, I don't know, it's a strange thing, right? Usually you're excited, you can't wait. For me, it was more relief. Oh, like, for example, I remember being in the airport just like, oh, please, hopefully this goes well. Hopefully I can enter the country without any problems. And was in the aeroplane, and I finally saw Moscow and the snowy apartment buildings. I wasn't excited, I was just relieved. I was like, finally, I'm here. And I spoke to some people about this, and they said maybe it's because, you know, it's a bit spiritual, but maybe you belong there. You know, that's what people say. They go to Thailand and all of a sudden they find themselves, you know. That's what people say, right, when you go traveling or whatever, but I don't know. Also, someone asked me about how my language learning process is, and pretty much the videos you see, they're my language learning processes. Yeah, when I go and speak to these people, I learn so much because I don't know how to speak Russian very well. But when I speak to them, I remember specific words. And yeah, that's my language learning process. Currently, I mean, it took me 6 months to learn the Russian alphabet. I taught myself the Russian alphabet. And then after I realized I can't do this on my own, I got a teacher. So I've had about, I would say, 9 months of learning Russian in a classroom, and in an online classroom, right? But yeah, I taught myself the alphabet. That took 6 months. I had a teacher for 9 months, and apart from that, it's just been myself making mistakes and coming here. And I feel like coming here and speaking to people, the real Russian people, is the best type of learning. And I'm not a big fan of apps. Yeah, Duolingo, they don't really teach you what you need to know. For example, on Duolingo, they say, you know, they teach you stuff about the dog ate the apple. It's like, do I really need to know which kind of dog ate the red apple or the apple? No, I don't. I want to learn useful Russian words, useful Russian sentences. So that's why I haven't gone down the language learning route on an app. I just feel like it's so useless. But the other thing I do at the moment is I pretty much, if I go into a shop and there's something on a self-checkout scanner, I take a picture of what's on the checkout scanner and I look at that when I'm home, find out the translations for it and so on. I just try and find words and sentences that are used in my everyday life, not useless things, you know. And apart from that, I really need to learn these, I can't remember what it's called, conjunctions or something. For example, я смотрю, я смотрю, I'm watching, I'm looking. But I need to learn all the conjunctions that go in front of that to make it a different word that has a completely different meaning. Oh, like, я посмотрю, that's like, I will look, or I will watch something. But that's my language learning process. Probably not the most ideal, but look where it's got me. It's got me relatively far. And you don't need to be an expert in any language to get around, to be honest. You just need to know the basics. But it's a completely different process once you come to a country. Instead of being in a classroom and hearing the language being spoken in the classroom, once you come to the real country and try and hear it being spoken like a real person, it's completely different. Because you know, those lessons are tailored for you to understand. People here don't tailor their speech so you can understand them at all. But that's how you learn. That is how you learn. But that is my video for today. I just wanted to talk to you and tell you what I feel about Russia, how I feel about Russia. And some people just wanted to know a little bit more about myself. If you want to ask questions for me to answer them, just put them in the comment section below. I will answer them. Obviously, if there's 100 comments, I can't respond to all of them in one video. But I'll do my best. But that's why I love Russia. Russia's not for everyone, and I'm sure Russian doesn't want to be for everyone as well. And a new video will be out on Sunday, as per usual. Thank you very much for watching.